I was actually driving to a meeting in Wichita Falls, and I had left my daughter at my dad's house, my parents' house, and I got a phone call from him, and he asked where I was, which I was annoyed because he knew where I was. And anyway, long story short, he ended up and told me to come home. Then a few minutes later, the phone rang again. I was driving way too fast. The phone rang again. My dad told me to pull over on the side of the road, and the next voice I heard was Randy's police chief. And he simply said, "Janet, there's been an accident. Randy didn't make it." And so at that point, I was on the side of the road somewhere between Jacksboro and Wichita Falls, and I screamed in the car. And they tried to get me to just stay there, but I'm too stubborn. I drove back into Jacksboro, and they met me, and then that's when my life changed, and I had to live with that tragedy. So after my husband was killed in 2009, basically I ended up you're kind of in shock, and you don't realize what all is needed immediately after a tragedy like that. I had a lot of church that came in, but as far as financial, you're all of a sudden having to plan a funeral, and you don't know what's covered. You still have bills to pay. The crazy part is my brain just absolutely was so fried I couldn't remember to pay bills. And I think the one thing that was the most benefit with the immediate funds was that I was able to put bills on auto pay that I wouldn't have been able to put on auto pay before, because the electricity got turned off, but it wasn't because the money wasn't there, it was because I forgot to pay it. And so I quickly was able to do things like that, put things on auto pay, because I didn't have to worry about whether there was money in the account. They could just be paid automatically. And so it's little things like that. It's the, it's the groceries. I missed a lot of work, and I didn't have to worry, once that immediate money, because, the state of Texas is great for providing for, widows and children of fallen officers, but that money does take time to come in. And so that immediate relief is just phenomenal when you're dealing with a tragedy like that. There was a check waiting for me at the police department, and I went down and was presented with that check. And I don't even remember the timing. Everything is such a blur during that time, but I just remember thinking, oh wow, it was shocking and very humbling to be given that and know the things that it was going to help with. First of all, thank you. That would be the first thing I would say, is thank you for all you do, but also thank you for having a mindset of philanthropy like that. I tend to be one that doesn't like to take help, but put in the position, it is a humbling thing. And so knowing the police officers I know, I have a feeling that it's philanthropy side of things is very easy, but it would be very hard for them to take. And so I would think, look at it from the perspective of what would you want from your wife and children, and how would you want them to be taken care of? Because that was one thing that my late husband, I didn't know until after he was killed, but he had actually told my dad, if something ever happens to me, Jaden and Janet will be well taken care of. I don't know if he knew about the Police Chiefs Association, but y'all are just one of many places that are helping, and it does make a big difference. It does make it so that we can basically do what we need to heal and not have to worry about the practical things, I guess, for better lack of a word. You're given in honor of him and everything, and so I decided to have that case made so I could display it all.
I just want everybody to know that I was married to the best man in the world, and he's up in heaven, looking down at us tonight. And God made him to do what he did. And I know that, and that's kind of where my peace comes from. That and the fact that I know he's in heaven, and I'm going to see him again one day. And so we're going to be okay. All of y'all's love has helped. This police department is our family, and I've told them they better not let me go. I'm going to be up here pestering them a lot. But thank all of y'all for coming out, and just thank y'all for loving my husband.